They asked a few of us if they consider press to stand back.
Attention, this is the Salem Police Department. This has been declared an unlawful assembly pursuant to Oregon Revised Statute, Disorderly Conduct 166025. You are all commanded to disperse from this location immediately. If you do not disperse immediately, you will be subject to arrest. You need to move to the north. Please move to the north now. Failure to disperse or comply with these orders may result in force used against you, to include impact weapons, munitions, and tear gas.
So what was supposed to be something against fascists has now turned into the police pushing around people that were standing on the sidewalk. They ended up blocking off the road before they could get here. And very minimal trucks got through. Any ones that got through most likely were not part of the caravan. They were probably just on their own and knew that it was going to come through eventually. So I'm not going to get this, but the people that were here to stand against the anti-fascists are now at least a football field away from the line of cops here. It is mostly just people identified as press and cameras that are standing in the immediate vicinity of them right now. This is a collaboration of a couple different departments. There's state here. You can obviously tell there's multiple different uniform colors here. The cops back here are clearing out any shields that were left over, that were left sitting around.
Here, the caravan and the cowboy, where the fuck they are, they're going to safely. That's where we're going right now. It's 2 blocks up here.
Like that one? Like
That's where we're trying to escort them to.
not camouflage. So once again, it looks like most of the people that were here to counter the fascists that were showing up are gone. And it looks like they're starting to rally themselves back. Okay. They're going somewhere else. Okay. So that's why everybody's starting to walk to.
That's what we want to do, because that's where they hear that stuff.
Okay.
Just shit, because now we're kind of separated.
Now I can get my car.
I'm missing these people.
Oh, there. They should be okay.
They might even be parked. A lot of them said they parked a couple blocks away.
Shout out Woke.net for hosting us. Clearly see multiple trucks with multiple loads of riot cops here. Vans clearly in case they need to do any arrests afterwards. Yeah, we can figure it out. So everybody's moved. I'm gonna go try and see where everybody moved to.
I'm just gonna point it at your fucking...
Are you going to Safeway? They pulled back to their vehicles and they started circling around this way.
Which one's that right now? Where do they think that? Which way is Safeway?
26.
Well, that's why I thought the crowd was moving in the direction of Safeway, but I don't know where it is though. Is that right there? Oh shit.
It's kind of like that direction.
I know, but if we keep walking, they're gonna have to keep driving around like what the fuck is
Oh snap, there's the res card. face? No. Are you here for the Trump convoy? Huh? Are you here for the Trump convoy?
I'm here for Trump, yeah.
Oh yeah? Okay. Well, that's nice, I suppose. Yep. Woo!
Get out! Get out!
Somebody just yelled at a crowd there. I thought it
Some of them are Trumpers. They're circling around the area. fuck.
I'll let you know if
Oh, fuck. Yeah. There's like fucking goggles. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh. Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Just slowly. I like to do it to myself. Wash your eyes out here. Just dump it in your eyes, little bits at a time. Look all the way up. Put your head straight up. Wash it out and open.
just a little.
Okay, I think that's enough. The wind.
Just a little bit. Okay.
Come back. But
Yeah.
the wind just whipped like the
Right in
tail
the
of it.
mist. Yeah, I felt it too.
Stop! All right, here we go. We're gonna introduce our first speaker, Ralph Beha. Ralph is our friend from the U.S. CPFA, U.S. Chinese Friendship Association. Let's welcome Ralph.
Thank you, Chair. I cannot match the eloquence of our poet, I'm sorry. For about 50 years, the U.S.-China People's Friendship Association has stood for principles of mutual respect, dignity, and understanding among the peoples of the United States and the peoples of China, despite political differences between governments and vastly different historical experiences. The friendships we've ended up building have helped lay the foundations for decades of peace and prosperity on both sides of the Pacific. In the USCPFA today, we deeply grieve for the victims of the Atlanta murders. At the same time, we recall with shame and regret the long and embarrassing history in this country that we've just heard about of violence against people of Asian descent, almost 2 centuries now. For members of the dominant culture like me, and I see that despite the masks, we have a great diversity of representation here, we have to ask ourselves, can we remain bystanders?
No.
Or is it time at last for us to be upstanders and stand up against discrimination, stand up against denigration, stand up against demonization, stand up against hate whenever we see or we hear it? Now, the Atlanta murders were the most extreme and repugnant expressions of hate, but there are so many ways in which we can all begin today, tomorrow, the next day, to stand up and fight the hate. Call out insensitive, quote-unquote, jokes about Asians. Push back on microaggressions whenever you see them. Call BS on inflammatory rhetoric and fake news whenever you hear it. None of us would want to be on the receiving end of this. And Dr. King said, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Well, former Attorney General Eric Holder reminds us that bending that arc doesn't happen on its own. Justice is dependent on actions by all of us in our day-to-day lives. What moral universe do we want to live in? It's time we all work to bend the arc, to live those principles of respect, of dignity, of empathy, curiosity, and understanding for all people in our Asian American community and in our broader community at large. So let's choose to be upstanders and to show up. Grieve those whom we've lost, yes. Then go forth and be kind Learn about the history, the lived experiences, the culture, the values of Asian Americans. Share a meal. Go paddle in a dragon boat. Do something to bend the arc. Thanks very much. 谢谢.
Thank you very much, Ralph. Now we will have pleasure to have Executive Director of Chinese Community Center and the Principal of Minnesota International School, Melody Zhou, to say a few words for us. And she's going to speak in Chinese.
Don't worry about it if you don't understand my Chinese. The channel will later speak in English. 大家好，我是周舒，在这里代表明州国际中文学校和华人社区中心，向2021年3月16号在亚特兰大枪击案中不幸遇难的逝者致以沉重的哀悼，深切缅怀在那一天逝去的8个鲜活的生命。这次枪击事件对一直遭受种族主义攻击的美国亚裔群体来说，是另一个无法用言语形容的悲剧。我们的心与受害者家属们同在。亚裔美国人面对的各种攻击、歧视和伤害，这是一种流行病，而且在不断的扩散。我们只有一起拒绝冷漠，拒绝欺压，团结一致，守望互助，才能够制止这种流行病的蔓延和恶化。这是我们目前可以做也必须做的事情。美国是我们共同的家园，明州承载着我们共同的梦想。正如美国独立宣言所说，人皆生而平等，我们都有平等的享有造物主赋予我们的不可剥夺的权利，包括生命、自由和追求幸福的权利。我们的社区需要理性，更需要信念和良知。我们不能在恐怖中萎缩不前，我们必须发出自己的声音。不要以为事不关己，我们就可以无视而过，因为人人都可能成为下一个受害者。只有消除歧视，消除仇恨，我们才能保护自己的家园，才能继续岁月静好，继续追求我们的梦想。歧视、仇恨或暴力，这不仅仅是亚裔的问题，也是整个美国的问题。只有每一个族裔得到应有的尊重，只有每个生命得到应有的保护，我们才会是安全的。今天我们站在这里纪念逝者，无论族裔。今天我们站在这里抵制歧视和暴力，无论其渊源。让我们站在一起，共同反对种族歧视，反对任何形式的暴力和攻击，呼吁各族人民无论肤色，向仇恨和犯罪宣战。华人朋友们，大家说好不好？好，好不好？谢谢大家。
Thank you, Melody. That was fun. That was really good. Sorry. Hello, my friend, and thank you for joining us speak out against hate and racism. I'd like to thank the organizers and sponsors, the leaders of the House and Senate, and also all the community leaders, and all of you for coming here today. My name is Chen Zhou. It's my privilege and honor to have been asked by my community to say a few words. I want to tell you about my friend, Ni. Years ago, she got a note that says, "Go back to your country. We don't want you." And to this day, she still has the note. It is a reminder she has never felt accepted by this country. I want to tell you about my daughter. Recently, she was called to Chink on her way home. She was shocked and angered. What did she do to deserve that? Why so much hate? Why? I want to tell you about my Hmong friend. He got beaten up because people thought he was the cause of the so-called China virus. He was born and raised in Minnesota. He's never been to China, But that does not matter. They took their frustration and their fear on him. Nationally, in the past month, we had Avisha, the 84-year-old Thai gentleman, who was pushed and killed on the street of San Francisco. Nak Phanh, 83-year-old Vietnamese man attacked in the farmer's market. Xie Xiaozhen, 75-year-old Chinese woman that got punched in the face. What would you do if your grandmother got punched in the face? What would you do if your father got attacked in the farmer's market? What would you do if your grandfather got pushed and killed on the street? Would you tolerate that? No. Would you?
You need to move to the north. Please move to the north now. Failure to disperse or comply with these orders.
This is a test of the long-range acoustic device element.
Attention, this is the Salem Police Department. This has been declared an unlawful assembly under Oregon Revised Statute, Disorderly Conduct 166025. You are all commanded to disperse from this location immediately. All of you need to leave and go home. It's time to go home. Leave to the south. If you do not disperse immediately, you'll be subject to arrest.
I thought it was the north.
No, I was at the north or the south.
Failure to disperse or comply with these orders may result in force used against you, to include indirect conditions and tear gas. You need to leave now. Go home. This has been declared an unlawful assembly. Oregon Revised Statute, Disorderly Conduct 166025. Immediately. If you do not disperse immediately, you will be subject to arrest. Leave now, move to the south, go home. Return to your cars and go home. If you do not disperse immediately, you will be subject to arrest. Failure to disperse or comply with these orders may result in force against you, to include impact conditions and tear gas. Again, please return to your cars and go home. Hey, wheel left. Go to the corner, please. Move. 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 Hey, shift left. Shift left. Shift left. Building the sidewalk. Left side. This is the Salem Police Department. This has been declared an unlawful assembly under Oregon Revised Statute. Disorderly Conduct 166025. We're all commanded to disperse from this location immediately. Please return to your cars and go home. It's time to leave and go home. If you do not disperse immediately, you need to move now. Go return to your cars. Hey, all of you in the intersection, it's time to leave. Go home. This has been declared an unlawful assembly. If you do not leave now, you are subject to arrest for Oregon Revised Statute 166025. Disorderly conduct. Please, all of you, return to your cars and go home. Sir, in the green jacket, in the intersection, leave now.
I'm illegal pedestrian.
Get out of the intersection now. You are subject to arrest.
He's still got the right of way.
I have the right of way in the crosswalk.
He's got the white man of crossing.
I'm in a crosswalk. I legally have the right to be here.
Oh shit. Must be something going, it sounds like they're going over there. Oh, it's just a giant loop. Oh shit. Come on. Nope. God. Oh yeah. Yo, go around the block routine. Alright, we're going back to the Capitol.
Wawan's going to play violin solo called 天空之城. It's a Japanese anime song, Castle in the Sky, Innocent. Thank you.
Got somebody.
Now, return your cars to the
want to go down the block. I can go down the block. I have that right. If you want to come to court, sure. You can literally sit here and walk your hands.
136-025. Disorderly conduct. You are all commanded to disperse from this location immediately. If you do not disperse immediately, you will be subject to arrest. Please, turn to your cars, leave the area, and go home. Failure to disperse or comply to these orders may result in force used against you. To include impact munitions and up to tear gas. Please return to your cars, go home.
What's your name? What's your what? Right here. Right here. Yeah.
This has been declared an unlawful assembly under organized statute 160.
Outstanding isn't an answer, dickhead. Identify yourself, you dumb fuck.
You are all commanded
That's how it works.
to this location immediately.
That's how it works.
If you do not
That's how
disperse
it works.
you are
We
subject
pay
to
for your
arrest.
services.
Please leave the area now.
We pay for your services. Unfortunately, these services fucking suck.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if y'all put like half the effort into stopping fucking fascism as you do this, you'd be somewhere. Is this the road? Is this the road? I thought this is a pedestrian walkway. No? Isn't it a pedestrian walkway? Can I knock on the window and say hi? Ask a question. No? Alright. You gotta find out hungry. $80,000 a day, huh? It's gotta be like an $80,000 a day, right? God damn, y'all spend your resources pretty well.
That vehicle is worth more than every single one of them.
Oh, yeah, it's a $500,000 vehicle right there.
Yeah.
Easily a $500,000.
That vehicle. 40 years is that one vehicle.
How much is that Bearcat worth? That thing's gotta be a fucking pretty penny, huh? That thing's gotta be a fucking pretty penny, huh? What do you think of this, boy? What do you think about Bearcat?
Can I really get police?
You know how I'm going to fuck right now. That's why I gotta try and find our people.
good to see you, bro.
Yeah, you too.
Hey, Jenkins, this is fuck you, bitch!
Proud Boy. You got a Proud Boy mask on. Where's his truck though, you know? Maybe a Proud Boy in a Subaru? Oh snap. There's Proud Boys on one side up here somewhere.
They are up here. Yeah, 3 blocks from that. You got it twice. Oh! Oh!
You came here for Proud Boys, right? You guys came here to fight back? They're right fucking there. Jake behind enemy lines.
That's right, I tried to.
All the right, Fuck you, big
Okay, he's getting out. Oh shit. Oh damn, looks like the back got a little smashed.
You guys need to leave! Back up!
Huh? Alright, jeez. What? That girl motherfucker. Oh.
You fucking bitch! Fuck you! Get some vehicles!
Everybody, now, return to your vehicles.
Killing! Killing! Fuck out! Yeah, you get a fucking gun loaded.
Yeah, he pointed that shit right at me. He pointed his fucking grenade launcher right at me.
Stay together!
Get your cars and drive safely home, please.
Finally, now that shit's popping off. Oh, back to another shield. What is up with that van?
Back up. Back up. Go. Go.
Folks, it's time to go home. Return to your vehicles, leave the area, go home.
Stop blocking our vehicles then! Can't do both!
No, we're in cars out here now? I thought that was only a point.
Looks like they're helping their friend with all the flags over there. Doesn't he know Orkin was on the north during the Civil War?
He's not American. How the fuck would say with me you have a vehicle like that? I'm gonna say we're going to traffic. Oh wait, that's right. Y'all let that shit slide. Y'all let that shit slide.
Oh wait. Oh, is that the
Why do you
guy?
think we had to bring this Portland energy out?
Is that the lifesaver guy?
Why? We're gonna let you know.
That's not the behind enemy lines guy, is it?
On the ground?
Yeah.
Put your camera down
No.
to me so y'all
No.
Behind enemy lines guy is still back there filming us.
Oh.
Behind enemy lines
y'all
is still
put this
back
much
there filming us.
effort. Y'all put this much kind of effort into fucking Cowboys.
Hey, fuck this crap! Cowboys are back here!
What happened? Where? Are they following us behind? Are they following us behind?
Oh, for 17.
Hey, where's your crew? Did you roll with anybody?
Alright, let's just hold on to this in case somebody needs it. Oh, the beaner broke.
White minivan.
Do you have a cigarette?
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck is that? That's what I saw you with a cigarette.
Let's take
You probably try not to think about cigarettes.
Yeah. I used to a long time ago, but it's interfering with my ability to run.
That's a good thing to be able to do.
Yeah, it started to feel like it was relaxing my lungs when I tried to run. And that was like 10 years ago, too.
Well, I'll you with that. I'm probably on like year 14, smoking.
Damn.
Stupid ass.
I quit for like 10 years.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Fuck, salute, man. That's a fucking journey right there.
Yeah, well, I only smoked for like 4 years. Probably.
And I heard once you get back to 2 weeks, it's kind of like
Yeah, if you can just get the first 2 days, it really helps.
Hello? Can you guys hear me? Awesome. Hi everyone, my name is Dispersal and I am from Antioch, and I just wanted to raise attention that just like our comrade here said, Police violence isn't just happening here in Danville. It is happening throughout the country. It is happening throughout the Bay. It is happening right here in our homes. It happened in Antioch. There was a young man, 30-year-old Angelo Quinto. The Antioch Police Department kneeled on his neck for 5 minutes. He was going through a mental health crisis. Do you know what the Antioch Police is doing? They're intimidating the family. They're coming after the family of the victims that they have killed. This is what the police do. They kill our community members. They're not here to protect us. They're here to protect themselves. In New York, the New York City Council just voted to end qualified immunity. That's right.
Yes.
What is the response of the police? Oh no. Oh no. They will not have protection. They are scared now. They know that the qualified immunity protects them even in killing. Why are they scared? Because they goddamn know what they're doing is wrong. That is what we need to end qualified immunity in California. Right here in Danville, in Antioch, in Brentwood. We are tired. People of color are tired. Danville Police Department, we are tired. Enough is enough. We protect us, not you. We need to defund Danville Police Department and invest in community resources, mental health programs, youth programs. I am tired of seeing more and more people dying. I am tired of calling out names. I am tired. It hurts. It breaks us. Unfortunately, this will not be the last life. That is why we must continue to fight for Black lives, Black liberation. That is what we're here about. I acknowledge that I have non-Black privilege. So us non-Black allies, we must come out every single day to protect our Black brothers and sisters. One protest isn't enough. For everyone who just like, okay, I did a protest, that's it. Justice is served. No, justice is not served. We must organize. We must come together. We must support the victims' families. We must reach out to public officials and tell them that they fund the fucking police. My language. So when I say Black lives, you say matter. Black lives. Black lives. Black lives. Black lives. Thank you guys so much.
He said he worked for ABC, so he probably got a few clips and then left.
He works for ABC?
Apparently. I don't know why he came to a BLM protest in an American mask, but American flag mask.
Camera crew on him.
Very sus. What are you on?
I'll just stop watching. This is just an easy way to keep it on my phone.
Yeah. Did you say hi to Alex?
Giving your time and your energy, which are two things you can't get back. You can't buy it. You can't get time back. My name is Toussaint Morrison, and I'm a community member here in the Twin Cities, and I'm your brother. I'm your family member in pain. I'm your family member in trauma. I'm your family member in melanin.
I'm your family member in this city. I am you and you are me. And growing up in Minneapolis, growing up with my classmates, Yua, Tang, Yia, Kong, Zhang, the list goes on. We sat in classrooms with kids from East Africa, Southeast Asia, African American kids, North African kids, white kids, Latinx kids from all over. And although I don't know my native tongue, because my ancestors were stolen and brought here, a lot of my friends knew their native tongue. And many of them did not want to assimilate to lose it. And I found that so honorable. I found that so amazing that folks could carry so much culture here, but at the same time be endangered for representing that culture, be threatened for presenting their culture. And because as an African American, I don't necessarily know my culture. I'd have to go back sometime. I found it amazing to watch others revel in that. And although we came from different parts of the world, we saw eye to eye because we were treated the same. So when I say I'm your brother in pain, I mean that. When I say that I'm your brother in trauma, I mean that. And when we sat in detention halls, looking at one another, and when we sat in the principal's office, looking at one another, and not seeing our other classmates of lighter skin tones not be there, we knew that we were in the same struggle. This goes out to you, to all the family here, to all the family in Frogtown, to all the family in Minneapolis, to all the family all over this country. I am you and you are me. And that fight and that struggle is mine as much as it is yours. And the thing that's so beautiful right now is that we have these chairs out here for the elders. And that's there for a reason. You respect those that have come before you. You respect your elders. You respect your ancestors that stood on the edge of a dime to make sure that you would live and breathe for the future to come. And when Tashira says that we're here for human life, we mean that. We mean that we are here to value life. And we have to say that because our lives have been devalued. We have been looked at as expendable. We have been looked at as free labor. We have been looked at as the slaves who came before us. We have been looked at as inhuman, as lesser than human. And so we have to gather together to say we're not going to be treated that way. We're going to be treated as humans, just like you. So when we say stop Asian hate, we can also add stop racism. We can also add dismantling white supremacy. We can also add dismantling racially charged derogatory hate crimes. And you said it. You said hate crime without even hesitating. Yet it has taken the Cherokee County Police Department further investigation to determine what happened in Acworth, Georgia, a hate crime. Do you need more evidence to know that that was a hate crime? No. You don't. You saw it with your conscience. You saw it with your own eyes. A lot of us had to wait to be told that we were special, or that we were valuable, or that we mattered, until we stood up and said it. And when you hear officials say, hold on a second, I don't know if that was a hate crime, or elected officials that say, hold on a second, I don't know if I can say Black Lives Matter publicly. You have to ask yourself, what are they protecting? What are the institutions? What is the power? What is the legacy that they're protecting? I know that I am your family because they used you as they used my ancestors to build this country. Do not get it twisted. There is a fence between us and this building for a reason. What are they protecting? There is barbed wire between us and the 3rd, 4th, and 5th precincts. What are they protecting? There is barbed wire between us and the Hennepin County Government Center. What are they protecting? What are they withholding from you? What are they withholding from you? and you know that something is up, and you're feeling a certain way because you're feeling trauma. And I go back to Cheshire Fambu's daughter, and she said this last week at the action. She said that gun violence, when her father was shot down by the police, she said something very, very simple. It's very basic. And it's what happened in Acworth, Georgia, and it's what happened to your ancestors and my ancestors as well. She said, it's tough when you lose somebody, when a life is stolen because you can't say goodbye. You don't get to say I love you. You don't get to look them in their eyes and tell them that they mean something to you. They mean the world to you. They mean the universe to you. They're stolen. So when you talk about the lives that were stolen in Acworth, Georgia, in a hate crime, it's not just 6, it's not just 8, it's some person that got shot. It is an entire community that has resonated from there to here, to Myanmar, to all over the globe. It affects all of us. Now I want to wrap this up very quickly with the song. I want you to think about your parents. Everybody here. Who are your parents? What would they say right now if they could see you? How did you get here? Who are your parents' parents? What would they say right now if they could see you here? And what did they do to make sure that you got here? And now think about your parents' parents' parents. Get really far out there. Who are they and what did they do? What did they have to go through? Now I want you to sing with me. You can be out of key, but you can't be off rhythm, okay? Ancestors watching, I know they're watching. Ancestors watching, I know. Come on. Ancestors watching, I know they're watching. Ancestors watching, I know. A little louder. Ancestors watching, I know they're watching. Ancestors watching. No, I know. Louder! Ancestors watching, I know. They're watching. Ancestors watching, I know. Louder! They're watching you right now. They're watching you right now. They're accessing your energy right now. They see you. They are living and breathing through you. They know you, and they have known you through this whole time that it would come here. Your ancestors are living through you right now. Ancestors watching, I know. I know. One more time. Ancestors watching, I know. They're watching. Ancestors watching, I know. And I know that they're proud of you. Thank you. All power to the people.
Thank you, Tucson. And next we have Nick Core with Cal through Minnesota. Give it up, come on! Let's see more!
How y'all doing? A little louder. How y'all doing? What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? All right. My name is Nick Moore. You see him, his pronouns. I am the senior manager of Movement Building at Cal, and I work with the Asian Minnesota Alliance for Justice. We organized the event last week with over 1,000 people tuning in. Our role is, our job is really fighting to make sure that we are fighting for solidarity, working to fight white supremacy, and build cross-racial relationships to make sure that we really are doing this work to end racism right now in our country and here in Minnesota. We know that what happened in Atlanta does not stand alone, right? We know that. We know, unfortunately, that anti-Asian racism has occurred ever since that we've been here in the United States. Raise your hand if you yourself have faced anti-Asian racism in your life. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if this has happened before this past year. Yeah, everyone's hand is still raised. This has been happening for a long time. And we know, I'm going to take my mask off. It's way easier to speak without my mask. And we know that anti-Asian racism is connected to larger systems of structural racism and white supremacy, right? We know that it's connected to our immigration system. We know that it's connected to our policing system. We know that it's connected to housing and healthcare and all these things, right? Do you know about the Chinese Exclusion Act? Good. That is good. So from the Chinese Exclusion Act to the incarceration of Japanese Americans, to the treatment of South Asians and Muslims after 9/11, to the continued deportation of Southeast Asians today, our communities have always been under attack. So are you ready to fight back? Are you ready to do something about it? Are you ready to take action right now? All right, so I have two things. There are two things that I'm going to ask you to do. All right, two things. There are folks that are walking around with clipboards. If you have a clipboard, oh, they're over there. So they're in the back over there, by the safety tent, and they have clipboards. And we're asking folks to contact your legislators about the hate crimes legislation, HF 1691. And there, you can literally just scan your phone on that sheet and contact them that way. And so we're asking you to do that right now. The second thing, if you live in Minneapolis, we're asking you to sign the petition for a new Department of Public Safety in Minneapolis, because we believe that public safety and the needs to protect everyone, including Asian Americans. That's why we're fighting for a new system of public safety in Minneapolis right now. So that is what we're asking you to do. Those two things, go do it right now, all right? This is how you can fight anti-Asian racism. Go to the back over there. Thank you all so much.
When I say stop, you say hey, stop, stop. Power to the people. Thank y'all for being out here. Again, my name is Trig, part of Release Minnesota 8, and I'm introducing myself, but actually...
Hello? Sorry.
Introducing myself, but actually I have the privilege of introducing this young lady right here who happens to be my daughter, a Southeast Asian American Cambodian young lady, woman of power, who, just continues to impress me, continues to show me what it means to keep pushing forward and fighting, because Asian women voices matter. So speak up. Don't let them muzzle you or shut you down. Go ahead.
This is a war cry. 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 This is a war cry.
Tired and sick and tired of bodies dropping. Grip tight, fist in the air. Let me see them. It's air live, and they watching. Revelation or revolution for souls lost in America. Is it real or the media pushing mass hysteria? Ask the mothers and fathers who lost sons and daughters in the street. Ask the people who lost their life if they want a breath to breathe. Too late. That's why we out here fighting for change, knowing freedom in Christ come with a price, and to die is gain. That's the reason why we die to ourselves for the liberation. That's the reason why we cannot be silent if we want change. What's your reason for saying nothing and sleeping on a church? Better wake up, cause ain't no time for sleeping in the church. While our people live in hurt on the streets to the dirt they bury, the heavy burden to carry when seeing heaven is blurry. Hope, justice, and peace we seek daily and never cease. For the bodies already perished and the babies that can't speak. Let us breathe. It's a song that was just released called Journey, a little bit of my testimony. Pleasure having my daughter on here too.
This journey you must
out, locked in jail, or even passed away. This for the homies that been cast away, deported. Loved ones no longer here cause they done passed away. I miss you. Could've been there right with you. Let a homie put down your pistol. There's an enemy trying to get you. And I know you feel like you ain't got a choice. There's a lot of noise and I've been in the same shoes. And I know that you feel like you got a void that you're trying to fill but you can't do. And when I was 16 I was left for dead in the hood. Low trying to murder me. White t-shirt turned to burgundy. It's ironic my flag was burgundy. We was whooping the streets of the pillar. Young gorillas trying to prove he was with it. Disrespecting anybody can get it. Everybody look at us like a menace. They wouldn't get it. Roots buried in the killing fields. Couldn't tell us that it wasn't real. War stories that my mama shared. When she talked about it, couldn't shed a tear. There was many nights that I couldn't sleep. Had nightmares and gunshots in the street. Woke up with the clip in the heat. Bandana on, just a life of a G. Yeah. Woke up with the clip in the heat. Bandana on, just a life of a G. Age wouldn't make us what I heard him say. Gotta say there were a lot of days I believed the lies because of my mistakes. Didn't know about a saving grace. It's what I needed on my darkest days. Believed the lie that if I had more cash it would take away all the deepest pains. Hard-headed, wouldn't listen. All that I knew was to get it. Who am I kidding? All of the days that I thought I was winning, it wasn't really even living. My God, I was side. All of the pride, all of the trauma was caught in my mind. Now I look back at life and see that life is a journey and all of us dying to find a hope and a peace that is real. Suppression ain't keeping it real. Depression is deep and it's real. Never found peace in the pill. It's temporary and it ceases to feel. The void that we're seeking to feel. Voice that I speak of is real. It gives me a piece of me still. That's the reason why I'm speaking to you. If you listen for it, you will see that he's real. And 23 is when I lost my mom. The hardest feeling that I ever felt. And 26 is when I met the Christ. And his love is where I found myself. When I met him, it was in a dream. I was in the presence of eternal peace. Couldn't get out of bed when I woke up. Cause he died on the cross out of love for a G. Yeah. Couldn't get out of bed when I woke up. Cause he died on the cross out of love for a G. All on a journey. Yeah.
This next song is very meaningful to me, and I've heard it before, but now it's just so powerful in what's going on, and like, and that's the song. I'm singing "Stand Up" from Harriet, but right now it's like I'm a young Asian American woman. I have to be able to stand up for myself, especially when I live out in Rosemount. That's predominantly white people. I don't got people to talk to out there who look like me. I don't got people. My mom, she's all I can talk to, my dad. But my mom is an amazing, strong woman who allows me to throw my voice out there, especially for her work. And it's just so amazing. And us women, us ladies, us Asian Americans, we have to stand up together because we are all we got. You can play Sorry, can you start that over again? Like from the way beginning? My bad.
Yeah. One more time for Aileen.
All right. Can I get the family and Mr. Burris and our other speakers to head up this way, please? We're going to give everybody a minute to park and do all that.
My name is Zhong Kang Yang. I'm Hmong. I'm freedom fighter. A human rights fighter. And when I say that, you know that I'm not new here. I have stand in this stage and this step many times. Before the Hmong people come to this country, we have fought the war, the Vietnam War. In Vietnam, everybody knows. But before the Vietnam War in Laos, we call the secret war. Why? Because the Hmong people are the CIA secret army that we fought in Laos. We lost 50,000 men because United States lost 50,000 men and soldiers because another 50,000 are Hmong soldiers. Before we come to this country, before we become United States citizen, we sworn to the United States government. We sworn that we will become a good citizen. And if this country become war and have war, we will fight and protect and be a good citizen for the United States. And you know, United States had many war. I guarantee you, as right now, United States are fighting the war in South China Sea. I must say, in many wars, we lost many soldiers. In those lists that we lost many soldiers, you will find names that Chinese, Hmong, Cambodian, Japanese, the list go on. We have paid price. All citizens here are working and we paying for tax. And we deserve better life. And I thank you very much for the time. Thank you for everybody, your effort here today. In 2004, I walked from here to Washington, D.C. for my people. After the Vietnam War, United States left the war. And the war was over for the United States, but the war never over for our people. We are still paying the price until this day. I still go to the United States in the United Nations and speak for our people. Yeah. And thank you very much for the time being here. And I hope to continue to fight with you, and I hope that everybody continue to support each other. I'm here to help you, to be with you. We are brothers and sisters, we must be stronger. Thank you.
Stop the. Stop the. Stop the. Yeah. I don't know what to do here. Sorry. Stop the. You got it. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next performers. Y'all join me in showing love as we have been to our Asian Indian band here. Make some noise.
King over at the church? Is King at the church, you know? Not sure. Hey, you didn't get in there. How are you? See you.
Oh, so I'm Arjun Chaudhary. My grandma is Raj Chaudhary. She's the director of Seva. And so I'm Asian Indian. Clearly they're not, but that's okay. We're gonna do 2 songs, but I know it's cold, so we're just gonna stick with one for now.
And as long as you live in Minneapolis.
And I just kind of want to say, just like, how much, like, especially coming from me, and like, I know not all of us may not agree necessarily, like, on all things, but I think we can all agree that violence is never the answer for anything, and hatred is never the answer for anything.
That's right.
And especially someone me who loves this country so much that I believe. No. Oh. Yeah, so someone who loves this country as much as me believes in this country that they will treat everyone with respect and they will treat everyone with justice that they deserve. And this song is called "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd, and just the reason why we picked this song is it means a lot to us, at least. It was the first song that us as a collective group learned. And it just, for us, it just like, it means, it's the end of hatred.
We're about to get started here. Thank you everyone for coming. My name's Sevgi Fernandez. I'm with Together We Stand, one of the organizers here today. It really means a lot to us and to the family that you're here. And I'm going to invite up Mr. Burris to come say a few words.
Unfortunate that there are many cases like this that are happening all the time. And it's very frustrating. Louder! Yes. Okay. Louder. Okay. Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay. I'm saying that it's very disappointing and frustrated to have to continue to come to events like this where young men and or women have been killed under very questionable circumstances. We are in a period where it seems like homeless and mentally impaired people and African Americans, 3 strikes if you want to say it, all are easily victims of police brutality, misconduct, racial bias, you name it. And it's unfortunate that we are gathered here. As I looked at this matter and having come in here, it is disheartening to me, after hearing all that I've heard about Tyrell, that he was a decent man, he was polite, he was kind, he was not aggressive. And those of you who live in this community knew that he was homeless. Some of you knew him from that environment, and you knew what a kind and respectful person that he was. And so this issue that the police claimed that he had a knife, that he tried to attack them with a knife, seems totally out of character. I would only say this: the witnesses that I have interviewed clearly have indicated and said, have said that Tyrell did not have a knife in his hands at the time. He was not attempting to strike the police. And the police, for whatever reason, Tyrell's hands were up. He was almost like talking with his hands, like a lot of people do, trying to find out what was going on, and he was shot. And it was a kill shot, to make matters worse. It was directly to his face. I haven't seen many shots like that, but it was. And so for us, it means that we have to do all that we can to find out exactly what happened and to bring this officer to justice if we can. You all know that he was involved in another shooting out here 3 years ago. I'm involved in that case as well, and every time his name comes up, it seeks to justify what he has done. That's not surprising, because that's what cops do. They have to justify it. But it's up to all of us to pull the covers from their statements. We have to uncover the cover-up. That takes time. Certainly I can do it from my perspective, but all of you can demand that the police cooperate, that they give up the videos that they have, because that's a true measure of what happened, and have those videos given up in a manner they have not been doctored and are changed in such a way. It is important for all of us to understand that where we are now, particularly as we look on the eve of George Floyd's trial and what happened to him a year ago, that wasn't the end. And I viewed that at the time as maybe a moment or a movement. Well, it turns out it was probably more of a moment for all of us, because these shootings, unconscionable shootings, are continuing to occur. And we have them in Northern California as much as other people have had them around the world, around the country. But I still maintain that it's up to all of us, collectively, to protest, to make our issues known, our vision shared, and collectively hold the police and the local officials accountable for their conduct. That can only be done by marches like this, appearances at city councils, a program, platform, all of which are designed, because I think we can, at this moment, really deal with the questions of how do you treat the mentally impaired. There is a lot of efforts being made. Some of you are here who've suffered the consequences of deadly force being used against mental-related people and your families. But I think that we can't move the social agenda forward by developing more units that have less law enforcement activities when they're meeting and confronting the mentally impaired. Anyone who saw, when I gathered, Tyrell would have known that he was mental. They would have known that he was homeless. That in and of itself should have triggered a de-escalation of some kind. It should have meant that you don't have to create a confrontation. It was pretty clear when you guys know, that some of you know, that where George hung out and lived was not far from where he was, shot down in the middle of the street. He was on his way home. And the officers, if they were good officers in this town, they would have known about Tyrell. They would have known, because many of you knew Tyrell out there. And so the fact that they knew him and should have known him and didn't take precautions to save his life is unconscionable. It is sinful, and it's clearly illegal. I think this officer should be prosecuted. This is the second murder that he has committed in 3 years, and that's too many. So I'm pleased that all of you are here. Remember that there are issues that we have to deal with in terms of the homeless, the mentally impaired, and racial bias in law enforcement, because those are the ones that seem to be receiving the brunt of the death and the shooting deaths that are occurring not only in this community but around the world as well. So at this time, I want to bring up Tyrell's dad for a few comments, share with us.
I want to start off by saying Tyrell, he was a good kid. And me being his father, I have 31 years of law enforcement experience in Southern California. I retired in 2017. And a lot of people that I work with, our main goal, first thing, if it takes 15 minutes, if it takes an hour, de-escalate. These younger officers, deputies, they're trigger happy. And the thing is, they're not only just going after, they're not going after really people like me. They're going after our people that have mental issues going on. And a lot of this can be solved by de-escalation, and they're not doing it. And they think just because he was homeless, he had people that cared about him and loved him. Right. And I love that boy to death. So, and like I said, this is just too many. Just like if we have a past of a DUI 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and you get one today, believe me, it will be brought up again. And apparently this deputy has a problem, and he needs to be removed. And my thing is, there needs to be transparency. If this was justified, they would have had that out there immediately. Something's not right. I don't feel good about this. And they're trying to dot every I and cross every T that they can. Or they want this to go away. As long as there's air in my breath, this will not go away.
The rest of Tyrell's family is right in front of us. Mom, cousins, uncles, all here in support, and I'm crestfallen by what has happened. I think that we should all keep in mind that accountability is the watchword, transparency as well. And you can only have transparency in a case like this if you show the videos, you show the reports, and give us the information that's needed. We have witnesses, but we need all the other information as well. So again, thank all of you for coming, and others will come and speak now who are also involved in these activities and on the front lines of fighting and seeking justice.
Thank you, Mr. Burris. I'm going to call up Uncle Bobby. Come say a few words.
Definitely our condolences to you, the family, from the Oscar Grant family. For all who may not know, I am affectionately known to the community as Uncle Bobby and the uncle of Oscar Grant. So let me ask, how many of you was actually a part of the Oscar Grant movement when it occurred in 2009? Let me see your hands. So what we have here is a whole new era of time. Many of you have not been on the front lines the last 12 years like those that raised their hand. This is what is important. There was the community that embraced us, cried with us, went back and forth to court with us, prayed for us, prayed with us, but most importantly, utilized their First Amendment right to speak to the very injustice of what they witnessed to Oscar, like many of you doing today here for Tyrell. It is important that you embrace this family because it is that embrace that gives us the strength to carry on in hopes that we can bring about real change. So as you see them, you pray for them, you tell your friends about the events that may occur as they call out, come into City Hall or what have you, or they may plan a march or whatever. But you got to continue to embrace them. So I'll say it like this, as you know, there's no horror comparable to losing your loved one to the police. And that's because many of us believe that it should not have happened. It doesn't have to happen. The power of the police to use deadly force is the most significant responsibility we give any public official. That responsibility must be guided by common sense legislation that protects human rights and saves human life. Now, over these years, that's right. Now, over these years, sadly, every tragic event opens the door for opportunity to bring about real systemic change. In 2015, for you that don't know, you can go to use of force data collection that the California Department of Justice had instituted through AB 71 that we campaigned for, and you can see how many people are being killed in this state. Since Oscar's murder, over 1,300 bodies in the state of California have been killed by the police. So that's telling us we have a problem. How many is that per year? 150 to 175, right? And some of you just getting out here. How many bodies have died and we were at home? And we just kind of watched it on TV and didn't take it in. Now we're here because it hit our home. Now we're out. Danville is out. Danville should have been out 12 years ago, but you're out now. So now let's keep the boots on and let's go to battle to bring about systemic change. 2016, we got AB 953, the Racial Identification Profiling Act passed. That is the reason why Tyrell is dead today. He's a man of color. Now, this is true. If it had been a white young man with a mental crisis, they would have came, they would have created space and time, they would have talked him down, or they would have engaged him and put handcuffs on him and took him to jail or McDonald's or what have you, but they would have took him home alive. So you see, thank you. We have an opportunity to really bring about some change. 1421, SB 1421 came in 2018, and that is the right to know. And I heard the father talking about transparency. So you need, with John, to make the request through 1421 to get the history of that officer. Because as John stated and others, he's been involved in shootings before. We don't know how many use of force complaints been filed against him before he just killed Tyrell. All that's going to come up. And the reason why he turned his video off, for what I thought I read, there's no video. If that's true, and he had a lapel camera on, why did he turn it off? So that is another course of action that we must take here in Danville. That is to make sure that if an officer turns his lapel camera off, that some form of action, if not termination or incarceration, should be the law. This way, we can know exactly what happened. And I'm going to close with another piece of legislation, and that is AB 392. What do I say? Two more, which is true. And the last one is the most important, but AB 392 is the most strictest use of force legislation in this nation that we got today here in the state of California. And we changed the standard from reasonable to necessary. So the question is, was it necessary to kill Tyrone? No. Was it necessary to kill Tyrone? No. Now, if it wasn't necessary, we got to stand behind that legislation, enforce that the DA filed charges on that officer for killing Tyrell because it wasn't what a reasonable officer would have done under the same circumstances. And it's working. In San Diego, Nicholas Bell was killed by the police officer there, and the DA said that he had to file charges on the officer for killing Nicholas Bell because it was not necessary. Stephen Taylor in San Leandro was killed by the officer there, and Nancy O'Malley had to file charges, murder charges against the officer for killing Stephen Taylor because it was not a reasonable standard, but it was the necessary standard. And he killed a man that was in a crisis, a mental crisis state. Here we go. And she found it necessary to charge the officer. As we know, Tyrell had mental issues going on. And I'm sure, like John said, most likely they have engaged him before. So they was fully aware that he didn't have everything that they thought was proper in the sense of what normal standard human beings may have, and therefore they should have approached him cautiously. This last piece, which is the most critical, is SB 2, which is the decertification law that we working to pass this year. Senator Bradford has put it forth. Bonta standing behind it, and Bonta today is, as you know, the selected Attorney General of the state of California. So, you Danville folks and everybody out here, we got to keep our direction in mind. If Bonta is standing about police reform, we got to engage him. We got to uplift this idea that decertification of police officers been involved in more than one shooting has to be decertified because most, as you know, if they don't leave their Danville office, they might just promote him and he kills again, in this particular case, this officer. But as we know, most will transfer to a new office, be involved in another shooting, find themselves in a little trouble, some retire on the middle state of struggle, and others move on to another office and kill again. This is common. And this last piece, there's a larger percent of folks being killed by the police that have a mental crisis. And so Danville community must follow the lead of Town Hall, I'm sure who will be speaking, concerning what happened to her baby in Walnut Creek. And I'm going to save the details for her, but there's an opportunity to bring about real systemic change. But what's critical is that you all have to be involved. You all have to really understand that it's not just you, but your friends that you got to talk to get involved. You must show up at your city hall meetings. And you must listen and watch when legislation pop up that is about real transparency and accountability, and you got to stand behind it. We need you. Many of you, like I saw, just getting into this battle. John will tell you he's been in this battle 30 years plus. I've been in this battle straight 12 years. I see J.R. Stone. He'll tell you, well, we've been on this battle. It's not easy. The wheels of justice turn slow. But the reality is, we can bring about a change. Keep that in mind. We can bring about a change. Thank you.
All right, Uncle Bobby. That's right. Okay, Miss Tonhall, come up. Want me to hold that for you?
Hello, family. You guys are now in the club that no one would have thought you would be in, but we are here together, and it is the worst pain, as I know you know already. I don't have to tell you, but I'm here with you. My family's here with you. We stand with you. And I'm so sorry for the tragic loss of your child, the murder of your child. He was taken from you, just as my son, Miles Hall, life was shattered and taken from us. So a little bit just about our family is that Miles struggled with mental illness. We made sure that Walnut Creek knew exactly who our son was and worked with them trying to get resources, and it didn't happen. And they came with guns when he was in a mental health crisis and just needed help. And that can't be, but we're seeing it's happening everywhere. And I was just in Stockton. There was another family who lost their son in December. Same thing, mental health crisis. So it's systemic, and it's happening everywhere. And our family has, we're so blessed by the community support that we've received. And as Uncle Bobby said, it's just not about us, right? So it's not just about Miles. It's not just about Tyrell now. It's about saving the next people that follow behind us, because we have to be the ones now. Our community has to stand up with us, and that's exactly what we've seen. We're now working, we've pushed Walnut Creek hard as it, but you know what, they have not, literally, after a year, they literally have been just standing firm. But, it's community support that makes sure that we're going to show up at these city councils. We're going to be there, and we haven't gone away. And I tell you, the things that have happened from that is that now we're working with the county to have a non-police response to the mentally ill 24/7. That's in the works right now, a pilot program, and we want it named after Miles Hall. We're also working with legislation. Rebecca Bauer-Kyan in the Arenda office. She's an assemblywoman, and she stepped up. She's like, no, enough is enough. This is happening. It's systemic. And what's beautiful about this is now that there's a new legislation, as Uncle Bobby was talking about. There's another one, and it's called AB 988, and it's called the Miles Hall Lifeline Act. So while somebody saw Tyrell, and John said it clearly, in a mental health in a mental health crisis, 988 could have been called. And then there would have been mental health teams that came and supported him, as we should, with compassion. So that's where we're lacking, right? So we stand up, we can continue to work, and just know that our family, which we've created also the Miles Hall Foundation, to make sure that we protect families and create change. So this doesn't happen again, but it is happening. So we have to keep fighting. So just know that our family's with us, and you can all just go to justiceformileshall.org. And the reason I say that is because on that website is AB 988. We all need to support that. That's a statewide effort that will help everybody in our communities. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ton. Can I bring Gigi up? Are you still here? There she is. Thank you.
Trust and believe, I am not going anywhere. Just like I stood with Ton Hall, I will stand with your family. This definitely should not have happened. And I take it personally. I take it personally because of all the work we've been doing in this county to tell police officers, all you really need to do when you see someone in mental health distress is to retreat and take the time it needs to de-escalate. So that this happened means that there was a person who hated a black person, in my opinion, and felt like they were ready to get back to work. This officer never should have been in a position where he would be responding to your son while in a mental health crisis. Why? Because he killed another person. So I'm calling these hate crimes. Why? Because in the last year, the individuals who have been killed by law enforcement in this county have all been men of color. That's not an accident. We are weaponizing skin tone. And I don't make apologies for how I feel. I go deep when it's a black person. I go deep because I know that the system, the behavioral health system, do not have programs in place. Even if your son said, hey, I'm ready, I want help. I know I live with mental illness. I'm tired of being unsheltered. We are put in a position where we're rearing African Americans who live with mental illness for one track only, death or incarceration. We're not giving them the services they need. So I'm making a pledge to you, Mom, and family, that I'm going to ride or die with you, just like I have with every other family. You can put my number in your phone and call me whenever you need to, and I will be there, because we're doing a countywide process right now. We've been meeting for the last month. I've been devoting all my attention to this effort. I can't do things that are just check the box, words on paper, and not lift them up. That is why we do have legislation, and we will be naming the Miles Hall, the non-police response program after Miles Hall. Even if it's not officially done, folks who know what happened will be calling it the Miles Hall prompt. So you think about what you want your son's name to be on. Think about it. Here in Danville, what's his birthday?
March 8th.
March 8th. Every March 8th, the city of Danville will have a Terrell Wilson Day of Remembrance. Every March 8th, from this day, this year forward. I guarantee you, we'll get a proclamation, we'll go to the city council, they'll mention his name in February for Black History Month, and we'll have that happen. It's a vow, and I keep my promises. So, like I said, this shouldn't be happening. It did happen, but we're going to say his name, Tyrell Wilson. Say his name, Tyrell Wilson. Say his name, Tyrell Wilson. And it will be etched in the memory of Danville. Thank you.
Thank you. Veronica, did you want to come and say some words?
Yeah, just a few points of information.
This woman right here reached out to me and has been my eyes and ears on the ground in Danville, because I'm not from here. She's had a huge part in putting this together, so let's welcome her and thank her.
Sorry. First, I'd like to express to the family my deepest condolences, and I've already spoken to you, but your son was a very peaceful person. I'm born in Danville, raised, as I've already said. I saw Tyrell almost every day for the past 4 months, and I feel really terrible that I couldn't have done more, just as Gigi had just spoken of, that there could be more accessible services, that there could be a social worker, someone to come out and meet with him regularly. I just wanted to share a few general basic facts of Danville, just things I know I'd like to share with everyone. The day before Tyrell was shot, the Danville police spent 4 hours talking someone out of suicide. That person may or may not have been armed. I haven't been able to confirm that. I believe they're white, statistically likely white. So it needs to be out there that they can take the time. As Gigi said, most likely this was an issue of they did not value Tyrell's life based on the color of his skin, which is appalling. I'd also like to invite everyone. The next Danville Town Council meeting will be on April 6th at 5 p.m. It's on Zoom. All of you are invited. Please help us put pressure on the local authorities to let them know that we care about this, we're watching them. From Mr. Burris, I just heard that maybe he wasn't wearing the body camera, but they do have footage. I saw with my own eyes them taking down a camera from the intersection at Camino Ramon and Sycamore, so for sure they have footage of the incident as well as footage of that bridge, so we can confirm.
We made a request for all of that. I didn't.
No, of course. Oh, no, of course. Sorry. I wasn't sure about the body camera.
No, we made a request for all of that.
No, wonderful. So I hope that the footage is released, and so we're going to continue to demand for the footage to be released. I put some QR codes against there, one for Sevgi's organization, Together We Stand, one for the NAMI, Contra Costa, and one also for the CORE team, which is a mental health outreach team based in Contra Costa County, and also a petition for Tyrell. Just with your blessings, if you're all right, we'd like to just collect some community, get some signatures, build a bit of a network so that we can be in contact and that we can continue to support each other in pushing for justice for your son. So that's not in the yellow square, but just above the yellow square is a QR code for the petition for Tyrell, just so that we can move forward from here in an organized fashion. And thank you everyone for coming out today.
Thank you, Veronica. So we're going to have Samira here. She ran for city council in San Ramon, and she has a few words for us.
Hi everyone, my name is Samira. I ran for city council in San Ramon along the lines to defund the police. It's known that in San Ramon and Danville, they share the same police budget. They've had a long history of zero accountability within their police, and it's obvious that they use their money as sort of private protection for private property along with the rich white people who live here. There's no sort of protection or community for Black residents here. And so we need to make sure that, like, as myself, as someone who's a non-Black ally, I need to know how I can help you organize, how I can help basically what parts of the budget that we need to get rid of, because it increases every single year by $1 million. And instead of putting it into social housing programs, we put it more into militarization for private property and white people in this area. So it definitely is a struggle to get through to city council, mostly because they have a lot of influence from a lot of the developers and a lot of the police departments here, so they usually win elections. But we will push, continue to organize, continue to gain justice for these things and not let them go under the rug, because oftentimes in this city, people do not care, generally, only very few handful. And so it is important that we demand that the community will give you guys some justice for what happened. And I'm so sorry.
Thank you. So we're going to wrap it up here. I just wanted to say a few words. So my organization, Together We Stand, we advocate for victims of police brutality across the country, and it is nothing new for us to see Black men being killed because they're suffering from mental health illness. And I did not get involved in this because it hit my family. I got involved in this because I have a Black father. He was a Black Panther. I have Black sons, my oldest of which has been thrown up against a car and terrorized by the police because a white woman thought he looked suspicious walking to the pool that he was going to on vacation. That phone call was probably one of the worst that I had, and when I asked my son how he felt afterwards, he said, well, I guess I'm glad I'm alive. And that's the reality that our young Black men and women are facing in this country right now. And we've done a lot of these marches and rallies in Contra Costa County in the last year, and it is important and essential that the work doesn't stop here, right? You don't show up, march, go home, and move on with your life. It's important that we continue, as she said, get involved in the city council. Look at how your police department is funded. Look at how much of your city's budget goes towards the police department. Andrew Hall has been a police officer here for 7 years, and he's killed 2 people in 7 years. That's not a good record. We have to get him out. It's not going to happen unless we all put in the effort. And you've got to go home and you've got to get other people on board. This is not something that changes overnight, and it's not an easy road, but it can happen. But you have to stay dedicated and committed to this process. So please, for those of you that this does not affect, For those of you who don't have to worry about your children, do it because you're worried about our children. Do it so no one else has to lose their baby. So I'm going to leave it at that. Is there anyone else? Come here, girl. You going to talk? This is Nikenya Allen. She's going to speak and close us out.
Thank you. I want to send my condolences to the family and express a little bit of understanding. I had a biological parent that was homeless due to mental illness. And I know how devastating it is to need to express the humanity of the person that you loved because, again, you know, another police-involved shooting, and the first thing everybody does is do a whataboutism, you know. Well, what about this? He was homeless, so his life didn't matter. And it's just that lack of humanity that is disgusting to me. Right. And I got involved in this because in my area, white supremacy is extremely prevalent, just like it is Martinez, just like it is everywhere else. And one of the things that I've been able to understand about how these things work is that it's not just on the level of these officers patrolling. It is also, as she said, the city council members, the local government. We have lawmakers that are not our leaders. And the most interesting thing about this, as I think about it, I was a science student, so I am mostly analytical. Even though we're treated like pseudo-citizens, they're taking our full tax dollars. Everybody here for generations of color, you paid for this. And it is a colonization type thinking where they just suck the resources and the lives out of the rest of us so that they can feel important about themselves. And that is disgusting.
Got that right.
I am also a young mother. My son is only 3, but he is a little black child in a predominantly white neighborhood, and I do not intend to wait until it's my turn. I believe in standing up for what is right and forcing everyone else who is responsible by law to raise their standards, to show some sort of respect and decency for everybody's life. And I want to thank a lot of the people who are here, who's been doing this for 12 years, and all these long years it probably felt like nobody was listening. You were going up against a brick wall, and there was just never going to be a change. I do think this past summer did something interesting. So America is going to have to make a choice. We're either going to grow or go, because this is not sustainable. We cannot keep paying to have our time wasted and have our babies sacrificed for a lesser being. It is infuriating, and there is nothing radical about protecting your family. I am happy that Danville finally came out of its closet. It's not as bad as San Ramon, but it is still what it is. Yes, and as a neighboring city person who is involved in trying to uproot white supremacy, I am happy to be an ally for Danville too, because all of these cities, even though They're not big cities, and they're not always on the map, and a lot of the people there are wealthy, and they have political power to shut things up. This is where we really need to be using our voices, because that complacency trickles down into the cities and everything else. So, thank you.
All right, well, we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank you all for coming. This is just the beginning. You got a community here behind you, family, okay? We embrace you. We embrace you for this long road ahead. And I know this was a very long walk. I know some folks can't walk all the way back. If there are people willing to shuttle to the other parking lot, come let me know so we can help some folks get there, okay? All right, thank you.
All right, I'll see you later.